We usually talk about wealth creation, the journey of generating wealth, but today we'll talk about how do we pass on this wealth successfully and without any hassles. Less than 10% people have created a will versus in the US wherein the number may be above 49-50%. Why do we procrastinate it?
It's sheer laziness and nothing else.
Okay.
And that laziness stems from a psychological standpoint that everybody has almost certain in their mind that they are going to see tomorrow's morning. Okay, tomorrow's sun. Something were to happen to you, okay, and let's say you don't have any children and your husband is not there. All the wealth that you have, which you have created with your own two hands, will actually go to your father-in-law and mother-in-law. Most women will think, no, if my husband is not alive, then my wealth should go to my brothers and sisters, my nephews or nieces, not to my sister-in-law. But the law is like that.
There are more than 1 lakh crore in unclaimed assets lying with the government.
Insurance doesn't work that I passed away, so insurance company will knock on the door and give my wife a large sum of a check. Ki, madam, ye aapka claim aa gaya ji.
Correct.
It doesn't work. You have to go and claim.
Correct.
If you don't know the existence of the policy, what will you claim? In will, at least you can mention who can be a guardian, where this child should study, when should he get control over his wealth, during this period of time what should happen. So rather than doing a child policy when a child is born, I think people should write a will. That will be a far bigger policy. This simple document is going to protect actually crores worth of assets. And so rather than spending on a fancy designer dress or an expensive dinner which may cost as much, spend on this on a good quality document.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to another episode of Beyond Just Returns. I'm your host Upasna Kaul, and I have with me a Managing Director of Ladderup Asset Managers, Mr. Raghvendra Nath. And today we're here to talk about something different. We usually talk about wealth creation, the journey of generating wealth, but today we'll talk about how do we pass on this wealth successfully and without any hassles. So let's start, sir.
Thank you, Upasna, for having me here.
So, sir, succession planning or will creation is usually not considered a priority in India. According to numbers, less than 10% people have created a will versus in the US wherein the number may be above 49-50%. Why do we, procrastinate it or not keep it a priority for ourselves?
So first though, anyway, I think there's a big difference between India and US. Okay, India, only probably 10% of the people have some wealth to pass on. 90% may not. So that's why the concept of will is alien to a lot of millions of people. In US, it's different. Most of the people are above the poverty line. They have some assets and all that. So they are thinking. But generally, I think this is, I've generally seen that most people who have some amount of wealth, less or more is another matter, they are thinking of creating a will. And they know what a will is. And they also know at least some benefits that the will has. But they still don't do it. It's sheer laziness and nothing else.
Okay.
And that laziness stems from a psychological standpoint that everybody has almost certain in their mind that they are going to see tomorrow's morning. Okay, tomorrow's sun. And they every night they slept last 50, 45, 60 years, they saw that next day's sun. And they have no reason to believe that they will not see tomorrow's sun.
Fair.
Okay, and therefore they think that when the time is right, or I will do it. And therefore they keep postponing this idea to a time when they are more free or they have a clearer mind. And so many times that time never comes.
Never comes. Fair enough. But just to understand a bit more, what are the benefits of creating a will? How compelling is the reason?
So I think everybody knows that one thing, that will allows you to express your wishes. And laws of succession are very funny, okay, and very very constricted.
Okay.
I think 99% people may not agree to the way the law of succession is defined for them.
Okay.
So, for instance, let's say I am a male person and I have wife and a child, and my mother is still alive. So, if something were to happen to me today, my wealth will get distributed. Will have three parts. One will go to my wife, one will go to my son, and one will go to my mother.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let's say I don't want to give one portion of my wealth, which is 1/3, to my son. I say he's a young boy, he should basically live, create his own career and whatever. I need to support my mother and my wife. Why should I give him? I can't do that. Government will force me to give 1/3 to my son.
Okay.
Let's say that son was 5-year-old, then he gets 1/3. If he's 17-year-old, just out of college, today he's fighting with me for pocket money of 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, and tomorrow he may have large sums of money on his own.
Wow.
So so I will not agree to the laws of succession. So I need to have a will in place, and 99% people will have this.
Okay.
In fact, in case of married woman, if something were to happen to them and their husband was not alive, and let's say they didn't have any children, all the wealth of the married woman goes to her in-laws.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Interesting.
just imagine. So
Some
you are a
alarm
working
bells.
professional. Yeah, you're working professional.
Correct.
Something were to happen to you, okay, and let's say you don't have any children and your husband is not there. All the wealth that you have, which you have created with your own two hands, will actually go to your father-in-law and mother-in-law. And if, let's say, they were not alive, let's say you are 50, 60 years of age and your father and mother-in-law have already passed away, that wealth will go to your sisters-in-law and brothers-in-law.
Wow. Okay.
Now,
Wonderful.
just think about it. Okay, so whereas most women will think, no, if my husband is not alive, then my wealth should go to my brothers and sisters, my nephews or nieces, not to my sister-in-law. But the law is like that.
Interesting.
In case of Christians, wife can get 100% of the wealth only when the husband doesn't have any children and doesn't have any relatives.
Wow. Okay.
Now, how many Christians in India will you find, or male Christians, who have no children and no relatives?
Wow.
You may make 500 people. So
Interesting.
there the law of succession is fine. For the other 99.999%, they can't basically give 100% of the wealth to their wife. Wow. So law, it is very so there's this breaking away from the laws of succession is a very very important element, and people have to think it in this in that fashion, that all of us have certain unique wishes.
True.
And those wishes are our own. And those wishes have happened because of certain circumstances or certain choices in life. And the only way to honor those wishes is if we create a will.
Fair enough. This helps understand the urgency definitely much more. Perfect. So how about unclaimed assets? There are more than 1 lakh crore in unclaimed assets lying with the government still. What's the issue with that?
So in fact, for people who think that their choices are simple and whatever, it doesn't matter what is the laws of succession, I'll go with it. The reason for them is, I think, their wealth. Okay, all of us are working hard. All of us are, sweating to basically accumulate the assets that we have.
True.
And we'll continue to set for those assets till the time we are alive, or maybe till the time we retire. And statistics have proven that every time a person dies and doesn't have a will, some amount of his wealth is leaked. Okay, it's leaked forever. Why? Because I'm not there. let's say something were to happen to me, I can't go and tell my wife na ki wo you know I had given that friend of mine 5 lakh rupees, please go and recover it from him.
True.
And that friend will say, अरे ये तो गया बंदा, अभी क्या जरूरत है मुझे पैसे देने की. That's a gift from him.
Sure.
You know, or let's say I invested in a insurance policy and I'm not able to find that insurance policy. Okay, how will my wife find it?
True.
Now, insurance doesn't work that I passed away, so insurance company will knock on the door and give my wife a large sum of a check कि मैडम ये आपका claim आ गया जी.
Correct.
It doesn't work. You have to go and claim.
Correct.
If you don't know the existence of the policy, what will you claim? So, and that is the reason why in banks there are thousands of crores of unclaimed FDs. In insurance companies, there are thousands of crores of unclaimed policies. That these policies, their beneficiaries of those people did not even know the existence of the policy, and therefore that money is lying unaccounted into those institutions.
Wow.
So the biggest reason why people should create wealth will is because they can pass on the knowledge of existence of wealth to their family members. You know, how many demat accounts do you have? Now, if I were to, let's say if anybody were to ask their children or their wives or their husbands, they may not know. You know,
of course.
How many bank lockers do you have? How many bank accounts do you have? How many mutual funds do you have? Who's your tax advisor? Who's your wealth manager? You know, so there are so many things. Where are the property papers kept? So come to think of it, if you were to look at everybody's financial affairs, they will be, scattered in multiple places.
Correct.
And that person will have to make an effort. People come we have a small estate planning division in our company, and people sign up for a will, and then they are not able to complete the documentation for months together because they don't have enough information about their own assets.
Wow.
Now just imagine, if I don't know where my assets are, how will my children
The family know. True.
In fact, I'm going on a holiday, so I'm updating my will. And I have a superannuation account. So when I was employed in Birla, that superannuation policy was taken by the Birla Sun Life. And I get 10,000 rupees pension every month. Okay. And I'm getting that for last 15, 18 years. But I don't remember the superannuation account.
Wow. Okay.
I don't have any paper related to that. There is an entry in my bank account every month that 9,999 or whatever. So, how do I mention that, So I'm just giving you an example that everybody will have certain assets where they have improper knowledge or incomplete knowledge. So when you do this will, at least you are able to pass on the information.
Correct.
Like in my will, because I don't have the superannuation, I have mentioned the branch from there where the check is issued.
Okay.
At least I have that somewhere in Ville Parle or whatever. So at least people can go and inquire. Otherwise, that money, which is the return of principal, which my wife is supposed to get, may not come.
Interesting. But do you think these conversations, especially in the Indian family context, are difficult to do? And how do you suggest for your clients maybe to continue these conversations or inform their people about or their families about these assets?
So it is difficult. So, the matter of death, life is fine, but death is something which is very, very sensitive, for everyone.
True.
And no loved one wants to basically have a scenario painted in front of them that their father or mother or husband or wife will not be there tomorrow.
True.
So people need to be realistic about it. People need to see around themselves that a 45-year-old dies of a heart attack while running in a gym, or that unfortunate incident that happened in Air India flight and whatever. Every now and then we keep hearing these news, and therefore that's the reality of life. And so rather than running away from it, accept it and plan for it in a rationalized manner is the need of the hour. So if you have that discussion that, okay, I bought a life insurance policy 10 years back, or 15 years back, I did not think about that I'm going to die next year. No, I bought it as a provision.
Fair.
This is also a provision. In a scenario, if I live for another 20 years, I'll get opportunity to change this provision the way my life goes and the way my choices at that time are. But if something were to happen to me tomorrow, how is my family going to deal with this loss?
Correct.
And how, will they be able to take control of all the assets that I have left behind? And will those assets be distributed in the manner that I thought they should? I think these two aspects need to be put on a piece of paper.
Sure.
How and what, it's like, in who's going to do it is another matter. But I think it is very important that every person, and in fact, there's another interesting aspect of it. When I talk to people who have lesser wealth, okay, or who are young, they say, अरे हमारे पास तो कुछ wealth ही नहीं है देने को, हम क्यों बनाए will? Young बोलता है, अरे मैं तो अभी इतना young हूँ, पहले बच्चे बड़े तो होने दो.
Correct.
But just they are not looking at a situation where if something were to happen, their children who are still minor, who may be 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 8-year-old, maybe their future may be uncertain in the absence of a will.
True.
In will, at least you can mention who can be a guardian, where this child should study, when should he get control over his wealth, during this period of time what should happen. So all those things which could play an important role in the child's life.
Correct.
You can mention that in your will document, so at least it becomes a guide to the people who are going to look after their child after you are not there.
Of course.
So if you have limited assets, you should definitely do a will, because then your family needs every single rupee of that limited assets,
True.
If you have young children, you should definitely do, because you love them so much and you want a bright future for them. So plan that future in advance. Most people buy a child policy, but the child insurance policy is not doing anything.
True.
That's only providing for 10, 20, 30 lakh, whatever is the size of that policy for that education or something, Your wealth is far, far bigger and many times over than that child policy.
One policy.
So rather than doing a child policy when a child is born, I think people should write a will. That will be a far bigger policy than the insurance policy that you are buying,
Interesting. Got it. So a lot of wealthy people are now moving towards creating trusts rather than a plain simple will. What is the mindset behind that decision, and how is it different?
So it's not wealthy. Trust is a very interesting concept. Okay. There was this notion 10, 20 years back that only wealthy can create a trust, but it's not true. Okay, anybody can create a trust, and trust has specific uses. Because will, please understand, will comes with certain limitations. Okay, what is the limitation? That will becomes effective on the death of a person who has written the will.
Correct.
During the lifetime, that will has no validity. Okay, so that it's just a piece of paper, a document, that is you have written for yourself. You may look at it every day, but it has no validity. So only on the death of the person. Second is will results in immediate distribution of assets.
Okay.
So you can't postpone the distribution.
Okay.
On the date of the death of the person, within a reasonable time from there, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, the assets need to be transferred to the beneficiaries.
Okay.
Now, if you have these two needs, if you have a situation where you need somebody or to manage your assets during your lifetime, then you need will not suffice. Then you need a trust. Or you have a need where you need to postpone the distribution of the assets. Then again you need a trust. So let's say, let's take an example. Let's take a special child. Okay, and special children are special because parents who have special children, they dedicate their lives taking care of, loving for them and all that, But someday these special children will become adults. And someday these parents will become old and die. But that adult will remain special. Okay. True. If he has a if he has autism, or if he has cerebral palsy, or if he is, some physical infirmity, that's not going to go away.
True.
So if that child could not take care of himself when the parents were around, how is he going to take care of himself when they are not around? So let's say you created a will. Okay, let's say there is a family, there is a special child, he has some terrible or whatever, some issue, and this family has 5 crore. Okay, I'm just giving some rough number. And the parents have written a will that all our wealth after this will go to our special child, and all the 5 crore, and the other daughter that they have who's well off and who's capable and she's married, nothing will go to her because she can take care of herself. But this child will get the entire 5. So after their death, the child gets 5 crore.
Right.
The problem is that this child could not take care of himself. So how will he take care of the 5 crore that you have left behind?
Correct.
And in fact, by giving 5 crore is in this person's hand, you are creating more problem for him. Because now there'll be some unscrupulous people who will eye that wealth or who will misguide this person. And that only creates more stress for that child, who has to be taken, who actually. So by giving him this large sum of money, you are not helping him. You may be harming him.
Fair.
So then how do you take care of this situation? So that's where trust comes in. Now, let's say in this scenario, if somebody created a trust and their will read that all this 5 crore will go into the trust.
Okay.
Which will be managed by ABC trustees, which could be family members or confidants or friends or brothers and siblings or whatever. And the trust has specific conditions that, okay, every month so much money needs to be given to this person. If, if he needs hospitalization, this is the hospital where he can go to. If he needs money for something, to buy a house or to construct so much money can be given.
Okay.
And all the assets that are going into this trust will be invested in ABCD fashion, So now you've created a structure, okay, that come what may, the wealth that you have left behind and the conditions that you have specified will be honored.
Okay.
Because trust is a legal structure. Okay, and whatever is written in the trust, only that can happen. Nothing else can happen.
Okay.
So now the child is protected from the extent that he doesn't have to manage this 5 crore or all the assets which are left behind. Plus, and somebody else is taking care.
Right.
And then you can have certain clauses and things to take care of the child as well.
Fair.
In which, where should he stay? Who should be with him? How should he be cared for? And all those things.
Okay.
So an insurmountable problem became a manageable because you created a trust.
Fair.
And same thing there can be innumerable such instances. And people in old age. People who can't take care of themselves. There are people, let's say, who all of us will go through that phase. Whether it is for one day, if we are fortunate, or it could be for years, where somebody else has to take care of us. Every single person will actually go through that phase, who dies a natural death. And when that phase happens, and let's say your near and dear ones or loved ones are not around at that time, okay, because your children will grow, they have their own families, their careers, they may not be living around you, they may be living abroad in another city. Who takes care of you? So if you have a trust in place, then again it can be useful. In complex family structures, you keep hearing about these business families. सारे भाई एक साथ थे, then झगड़े होने लग गए, then everybody split. Business got split 4 ways, 5 ways.
Yeah.
And and many times these businesses get completely destroyed. So if you were to do a proper succession plan, again trust becomes an important structure to have.
Okay.
So I just painted 2-3 scenarios, but they can be infinite number of scenarios where a trust could be more useful or essential than just a will.
Interesting. But how operationally heavy is managing a trust?
It requires, of course, it requires certain effort. I'm not saying that it is not. Will is a very easy document to have, and therefore trust is very depends on your personal situation.
Okay.
What is the extent of your wealth? There are people who are creating multi-generational legacies. Now just imagine if somebody has 20 crore and he's 50 years of age and he dies at the age of 90. This 20 crores, if we were to just go by past data, extrapolate, will become 10,000, 15,000 crores. Now that he's not going to consider, his children cannot.
Correct.
It's a multi-generational legacy.
True.
So then you need to create a trust. Because you have all your life, you have basically done all the efforts to grow that 20 crore and protect it. And then the 20 becomes 40 and 40 becomes 100 or 200. And then one day you die and your children fritter it away. So you don't want that situation. Then so you create a trust. So it depends. What is your personal situation? Based on that, you people, some qualified people can advise whether a trust will be needed in your case or a simple will suffice.
Fair. People also sometimes think about expenses for creating a will or even a trust, of course. Can you throw some light on whether this is true in the first place or not? How easy or how costly is it?
See, first of all, creating a will is not a very costly affair, fortunately in India, okay, and it just cost a few thousand rupees. And of course, it depends on what kind of firm are you going to also. If you went to a top-notch lawyer, obviously he'll charge for the time that he's going to spend. So cost is not a big factor in case of wills. But I think many times I feel that people don't even want to spend that much money.
Oh, is it?
That 10,000-20,000 rupees that will, which will help them in creating a good quality document. They don't want to spend, and because they are all these formats and all that which are floating around in Google, and they think that अरे इसमें क्या है, मैं तो मैं खुद ही बना लूँगा, और मेरा तो बहुत simple family structure है, मैं खुद बना लूँगा, मुझे क्या करना है. And I think people have to realize that this very common document is going to control distribution of crores of assets that you have. If you are living in a large city, metro, or even a tier 2, tier 3 town, your house itself may be 1 crore or 2 crores or maybe more,
True.
And so this simple document is going to protect actually crores worth of assets. And, so rather than spending on a fancy designer dress or an expensive dinner, which may cost as much, spend on this, on a good quality document, because, that will decide, and confusions can get created very, 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 very quickly, okay? So let's say I want to write, I start writing my own will. Myself, my will myself, okay? I don't take a help of an advisor. I have a house. Let's say I have 3 children, okay? And I say that, okay, after my death, my house will go equally to my 3 children.
Okay.
Now it's a simple statement.
Correct.
My intent was to give this house to all the 3 children. So I have written this. Now the will comes for execution. One child says, I want to sell this house. Another says, how can you sell this house? I am going to live in this house.
Yeah.
Third fellow says, no, let's rent this, let's not sell or live or whatever.
Yeah.
But the second guy is saying, no, I want to live in this. So that guy says, I'll also live in this. So पिक्चरों में होता था ना, दीवार खींच देते थे बीच में, एक कमरे में इधर एक भाई रह रहा है, इधर ये रह रहा है. Is it a practical solution?
Fair.
Now, a simple statement has created a rift in that family, and you have created a rift in your children, which you wanted to avoid in the first place.
Correct.
In fact, you could have done better without writing that will.
True.
than with a will. So even small things can have repercussions, okay? And therefore, when you are, and that is the value that a professional is trying and bringing to you. That, that how do you create that document which is just right for the ideas that you have.
Sure.
And for that, they will charge the time that they are going to spend. So if you are able to give lakhs of rupees to a doctor to get treated, or lakhs of rupees to an architect to design your dream house, as well give money to a good professional who can create a good document, a solid document for all the assets now as well as in future. So this is the cheapest thing advice that you will get in your lifetime. Nothing can be cheap than creating a will, because it's going to take care of all the assets that you will accumulate in your lifetime. That one document.
Fair enough. So a lot of wealth managers do have big practices. Do you think estate planning has been seriously considered to be a part of their offerings?
So people are offering, and I think a good thing that has happened is there is a consciousness in people about legacy planning as the wealth of the nation is growing and more people are becoming wealthy. But still it remains a very small practice, because it's not very remunerative. A wealth manager by giving a new PMS or the new AIF or the latest offering will earn far more money than creating that document, and therefore most people are not interested in terms of pushing. And that's the reason why this topic doesn't get the attention that it deserves.
Absolutely.
Because there is no incentive for people to talk about this topic. Have you ever seen an ad on will or a trust
Not
ever
really. Not really.
in your life? And every day you keep seeing ad, ye wala IPO aa raha hai, wo wala IPO aa raha hai, so why?
Correct.
Because there is not much remuneration, and therefore people need to get aware themselves and seek a professional who can actually do justice to this document themselves.
Absolutely. Fair enough. No, I think this is very interesting because, as you rightly mentioned, a lot of wealth firms or advisory firms do talk about wealth creation, X% returns, RR, etc. But seldom do they talk about this component wherein you need to protect the wealth as well or carry forward the wealth. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Just some closing notes for our audience who wants to take the first step towards deciding a full-fledged succession plan. What should they start with? How should they move forward in terms of steps? And is there any introspection that is required before they even start thinking about this?
So I think, creating a will is a very easy document. And my suggestion will be that don't postpone it. If you have postponed it for last 10, 15, 20 years since you first started thinking about it, don't do it, because otherwise you will never end up doing it.
Right.
Okay. And it's very, very easy to kind of postpone these things, okay, in future. And you don't even come to think of these, because they just go somewhere in the background, and then next time you hear about an unfortunate event, you will remember that कि अरे मुझे भी will बनाना है for a few days or a few moments, and then you will again forget. So don't postpone, because life is uncertain. We have seen COVID, we have seen so many other things. It could be us is what you should think. It could be me. And therefore plan for it now. Okay. And so that is very, very critical, that you should have an intent, and then you should basically convert that intent into action.
Okay.
Second is that you please do find a professional. Your every city has enough lawyers. Find a lawyer who's well qualified, who understand this subject. It's not very difficult. If you did a little bit of Googling, you will find enough and more people who are creating wills. But take professional help, because don't just scrimp on that few thousand rupees, because you are not going to see this document. And this is true for everyone. Let's say when you bought your first house, you would have gone through every clause of that agreement.
Correct.
That 50-60 page, whether you understood or not.
True.
Tell me, when did you last look at it? Do you even know where is it kept? That is the same with everyone.
Correct.
Once you create a document like this, it will just go into your cabinet,
Repository.
filing cabinet, and you will never look at it. So when you are creating, try and create a solid document. So take professional help. I think if you've done these two, the rest of the thing is very easy. The moment you have found a professional, you have engaged and mandated him to do this task, that professional will then help you with all the information, requirements, whatever. It's not very difficult.
Wonderful, wonderful. It was lovely talking to you. I think our viewers have gotten a lot of insights and some surprising insights and numbers that even I was not aware of. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you so much.
For our viewers, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, do share your comments and tell us what else do you want to know about. We'll definitely include that in our next episodes. Thank you. And do keep watching this space for more insights, more real life stories.